especially Uri Bala, is when everything changed for me once again. My experience in the industry realized that it's not just about one commercially successful film. I've lived with this condition since my teenage years. Do not have any perspective. When you come back home, he comes back home, I come back home. You share your life with someone who has similar core values.
So, hello, dosto. Welcome to the Bollywood talk show on IWMBuzz. This is your host, Rudy, back once again with another interesting guest. It gives me immense, but itna immense I can't really say in terms of expressing the pleasure that I have for hosting Yami Gautam over here. You're looking wonderful. The sun-kissed glow is actually hanging on your face. Shadi ka glow, good projects happening. First of all, how are you doing?
Thank you so much. And let me clarify, I'm not placed myself. It's just that it's time pe sun nahi hota hai.
But it's whatever it is, the aesthetics part is definitely taken care of and it's looking wonderful.
Thank you, Shivuri. Thank you for having me and talking to me. And
it's a pleasure.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how much it means to me before I go on with the interview. Vicky Donor, when I first saw, I was in standard 10th. तब जाके मैंने आपका पहला काम मैंने देखा था. From there itself, of course.
My God, that is
very
so
special,
sweet.
very special. I saw the trailer, and what the perspective that I have after that is, of course, you always have the potential of pulling off characters like this. But naturally, अगर मैं बोलूँ, किसी इंसान को अगर आप बिना प्रोमो या वीडियो दिखा के अगर आप उनको बोलोगे कि सोचो, मैं किसी स्कूल में जाके 16 बच्चों को I am keeping hostage. Naturally, it will be very difficult for them to imagine because Yami Gautam, imagine we can कर सकते हैं कि she will be cuddling those, sweet kids. She's that kind of an adorable personality. So when the project actually came to you and you were explained the role, were you shocked and surprised in a happy way at the same time that this kind of something where you get to experiment is coming your way?
Absolutely, in caps lock. I was very thrilled. मैंने पहले script पढ़ी थी. They didn't tell me what this film is about. And I knew कि, somebody from RSVP called and पहले हम लोग collaborate कर चुके हैं on Uri. And they back good films. Ronnie's always back good content. So मैं कहा हाँ, मैं पढ़ती हूँ. I read a lot. So I read the script and I loved it. पहले तो of course I was just flying through the pages. I want to know कि क्या हो रहा है. By the time I got done with it, so many emotions were brimming inside me, and I called Behzad. I didn't tell him how I liked it. I just asked him. I said, "What's your intention behind making this film? What do you feel? What do you feel about the film?" So because he's co-written the film with Ashley, so he spoke to me, and I thought that no, he really means it. He's really passionate about the story. He really wants to tell it in the best possible way that he can. He's very clear about how he wants to shoot it. And now this is a film I want to be a part of. I waited for this opportunity where, since a long while, female actors were leading some. I think they've like some brilliant films in the past, in the recent past as well. But I wasn't in a hurry. कि सब कर रहे हैं, चलो मुझे भी ये करना है. ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. I thought this was the right project, the right film. Sorry, that's the word I don't like. This is the right film to be a part of and headline something which you feel very strongly about, and that's about it. That's how I came on board.
Wonderful. There are different stages when it comes to any performing artist's character. वो actor हो, actress हो, कोई भी हो. Initially, when you are coming, it's about establishing yourself, and after you are established, it's about retaining that position. I think you've completed more than a decade already, 2011 if we talk about. So do you personally feel ki Yami, you are in that stage right now where because people have seen so much of your work, versatile stuff, we talk about Kabil and so many other stuff, right now there's probably a sort of conscious effort from your end कि नहीं मुझे कुछ अगर नया करना है या फिर I should do something new in order to kind of regain that consciousness about yourself as a performing artist, if not the audience.
Can I tell you, and I'm saying it in a good way, you are questioning and you're answering also on my behalf. That is,
yeah.
That's a very smart one. It's helping me a lot, gathering my words. नहीं, अभी 10 years इस साल होंगे. 2012 में release हुई थी Vicky Donor.
Yes, 11.
And I feel like I just made my debut. It doesn't feel like 10 years. Like 10 साल बहुत होते हैं. मुझे फील नहीं हो रहा, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा मैं क्या करूँ टू मेक माई सेल्फ फील दैट वे, बिकॉज I think now, since especially 2019, especially Uri Bala, is when everything changed for me once again. I always wanted to do different kinds of roles, films, wanted to work with good filmmakers. But then it doesn't just happen like that. And you realize, my experience in the industry realized that it's not just about one commercially successful film, or it's not just always about that one performance. I'm talking about 2012. Now things are very different. It takes a lot more to sustain yourself here, to survive here. It takes a lot more than you would imagine. So वो एक्सपीरियंस के साथ आता है, वो समझ एक्सपीरियंस के साथ आती है. आप सब हैं यहाँ पर आपको इन सब में अपने आप को रिटेन करते हुए, आप जिस तरह के पर्सनालिटी हैं या पर्सन हैं, उसको रिटेन करते हो. कैसे आप सर्वाइव करेंगे या कैसे आप लोगों को बताएंगे कि आप एक वर्सेटाइल एक्टर हो. इंटरव्यूज में 100 दे दूं, but if it doesn't show in my work, it's no point. Right? So I waited. I was open to all sorts of scripts. I used to read everything that used to come my way, never dismiss anything unless I know outrightly that this is not right, or this is something frivolous, or this is not good at all. But I would give a shot to like everything that would come my way, and you realize ki nahi, it's not anything else but the characters which will stay with you. You know, if you go back to Wiki Donor also, or all the films that were actually came in that year, they were so interesting and so different from one another. Very well made films, very well etched characters, very wholesome characters. But writing was also really important. My own awareness was important, that what is it that I want to do. You know, so I should get back to that mode where I'm looking for characters, I'm looking for substance, I'm looking for, it could be any genre. It could be a romantic comedy also. A genre which is missing right now, you know, these days. But it has to be that I have to do something. My character has to be doing something substantial in the script, you know, and adding to the narrative. And secondly, work with good teams, with good directors. I have worked mostly with, you know, first-time filmmakers or second-time filmmakers in my life, if you see my trajectory, except for, of course, Sri Ram sir, which was a cameo in Badlapur. But it was so refreshing to be a part of these stories, especially the last year, the way it's gone. It was really refreshing for me to explore so much about my own self as an actor. And I think there is so much more from me that you have to see right now, which will be rolling out soon. And I hope it's all for the good reasons.
Well, fingers crossed, all hunky-dory about that as well, hopefully. But I have to tell you this thing, when I saw the trailer, you know, when you talk about the fact that you're keeping children hostage and everything, the fact that एक menacing वाला feeling मुझे दिखा first time, you know, when I saw Yami Gautam performing on screen, because usually she's very sweet, she's doing her part very nicely, but वो menacing वाला thing naturally नहीं आता because she looks a certain way, she's gorgeous, she's sweet, so वो menacing वाला वो एक डरावना जो factor है वो नहीं आता naturally. But यहाँ पे मुझे दिखा वो to an extent. I'm pretty sure when I see it going forward, I'll get more glimpses of that. But because it doesn't come to you naturally, apart from the acting part and the enacting part, how probably did you have to, you know, work around with your expressions, with the way you went forward, so that वो एक डरावना वाला factor भी दिखे?
I think you're talking about the intensity. I think the intensity and the little that menacing.
Also the voice modulations and all that stuff.
Yeah, voice and everything. So मेहनत तो लगती है. And I am a very old school person in the sense कि अपना pen, paper, copy, razor सब लेके I'll sit on my script and work and make a lot of notes. और मुझे बहुत मजा आता है जब मुझे imagine करने को opportunity मिलती है. So मैं जब पढ़ रही थी ये script, of course अब बहुत बेहतरीन, बहुत अच्छी फिल्में बनी हैं, you know, in the past. If you see some really good thrillers have come in the West especially, you know, or we had a Kahani also here, or you pick up so many other, or thrillers maybe genres. You have a Gone Girl also, you have a Seven also, you have, you know, so many other different, I wouldn't call Joker a thriller, but it had its own thrill with an undertone of what it's trying to say at the same time. I think that was also so brilliant and so different. But आप क्या करना चाहते हैं कुछ नया, आप कैसे कर सकते हैं? So you imagine, You imagine, and I have a thing of just picturizing everything, every page, every line, every dialogue, and trying and picturing that this is how, like Shatmai, this is how she'll be talking, this is how her eyes would be at this point. So I write down everything. I write down everything with question mark also, because you want to ask your director that is it going to work, but I write it, so it's always stays in my mind. I write some logic also behind it. I like working with a lot of detail and depth over everything. Leave a room for spontaneity also, but this is a character which have to be very meticulous and very very precise, because geography wise also physicality, आप एक ही जगह पर हो, है ना, आप कहीं बाहर कुछ नहीं जा रहे हो. So how do you do that? So how do you, but you still have to be engaging, you still have to be and believable. And I think that only came from the fact that Yami was nowhere going to judge Naina. I'm not going to judge her. I'm not going to make any judgment that, oh, she's bad, she's negative, she's grey, she's whatever. That's for everybody else to do. I will be very honest with how she is, or she should be. And I really felt her weight on my body. I actually felt it physically. I used to, I've shared it with your colleagues. But that's true. When I walked on the set, I'm not kidding. I already shot 2 films by then, and I was coming from another town, and that set used to be 10-12 minutes brisk walk from my vanity van, because we were shooting inside Central Jail for the other film. So it's a long walk, but I was fine. This film, it was just like 7 steps from my vanity van, and our legs were heavy, and I was just heavy all the time. And I actually thought that I'm not well, maybe. Am I not well? But then I was like, no, this is not bad. It's because sometimes more than the physical work, it's the mental and the emotional makeup can be more heavier on your body than anything physical work that you do. Correct? Like physicality, कुछ fatigue हो वो चली जाएगी 2-3 दिन में. Mental आपको कुछ या emotional अगर आप कुछ सोच रहे हैं, it doesn't leave you. It's heavy. So I didn't realize I'm fully soaked in Naina. Naina is fully, and I can't cheat that. Yeah. बहुत कुछ गया है सुन के, काफी कुछ गया है.
But hopefully all the efforts they pay off really well. What I want to know from your end is a different perspective of life. When you posted about your skin thing, I think it's called keratosis, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you posted it, in normally we expect, ऐसा कहा जाता है that अरे यार, she's a celebrity, she's a public figure. There's always that constant underlying pressure on these people कि अरे यार आपको तो हर जगह perfect दिखना होगा. हालांकि perfection is a myth, but we expect celebrities and public figures in person to do that. How much strength did you need to actually come up with that? Being probably at a very good stage of your career, kitna courage laga in order to actually put that up all in words, say it out loud on Instagram, and after that, refreshing laga? Did you feel a lot lighter? How was it?
You're right. It's the expectations which can jeopardize a lot of things and create myths. Be it expectations, unnecessary expectations, or expectations that we create. Be it in any relationship, be it in our work, be it from our own selves, which makes it very difficult, But once you get past that and you take things for what they are, it's not so complicated. I've been wanting to do this since a long while, but when you are an actor, when you're a public figure, especially, to put it that way, especially the kind of industry we are in, we're not just film actors anymore. We endorse brands, we have events, everything has a meaning, everything has a purpose. It's not just, you will not take me just for the films that I do. You will take me, okay, how many brands does she have, and what all brands are you associated with, or what's your image, there's so many thousand things. Many a times, and it comes with a certain responsibility, and to be fair to whoever you are associated with, because they're also, it's a collaboration. Right? Yes. You are also benefiting from that collaboration. It's a mutual collaboration. But there's a part of you which always wants to, that little voice always wants to be, to say that yeah, because I've lived with it. I've lived with this condition since my teenage years, and I'm used to these expressions, and I know how it feels. Oh, what is this? Oh my God! Oh, and professionally, you have to cover it. You have to conceal it. You know, this condition. So it used to always make me feel that I wish if I didn't have to, you know, and just let it be. But I found that window. I found that opportunity to do, because that particular shoot that I did, it was not done with any agenda. Because it was my shoot, it was not associated with anything or anybody. I could be myself, right? So I'm paying for it. So and luckily, and to find that team also along with you, which echoes the same sentiment. You know, it's a new age world right now, and they understand it. Like, they were more than happy when my team got to know that this is something. I just wanted to let it be. I don't want to airbrush pictures. I don't want to smoothen this and that. And it was fine. And I felt really happy sharing it. And I read every comment. I read every view, and it felt good. It stayed with me. What you were saying, that someone wrote that my boyfriend feels, or my partner feels that why can't your skin be flawless just like actors and models? And here you were, when you posted it, I showed it. I said everybody goes through something or the other. So it just normalized it. And it's a very common condition. It's nothing, it's really common. Yeah. So it felt good. It felt lighter. And this comes out after a certain time, this confidence also. It's my journey as well, right? Absolutely. It's my perspective as well. And if we really feel, if what good has this age of social media done, this is the good part.
Yes.
Where it can also connect people for something nice, something which is not mean, something which is which can have empathy, something which makes you feel good. So
Absolutely, but you're still glowing, so it doesn't really matter whatever condition it is. So that's all it is. We are all always excited to watch you. Last question, Yami, before I let you go, would be that marriage at times changes perspective of an individual. वो एक होता है phase before. हालांकि I am unmarried, I don't know what the after phase is, but you definitely must be knowing. So has any kind of perspective changed after marriage when it comes to looking at life?
See, that's what the most important thing is. Do not have any perspective. Just be yourself. Literally, just take it like how you
one day at a time. Now,
taking one day at a time. But make sure that you have a good life partner. That's important.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. And always say it's important to understand that person. And don't try and it's not about, I don't know what people mean that so and so completes me, or it's okay. To each his own. Again, they might be feeling that way. You decide for yourself what works for you. Like I don't think anything has changed except for the fact we have another home, and we, when you come back home, he comes back home. He's coming back to a family. We both not from Mumbai. Essentially, Mumbai gave us work, gave us this professional identity that that people associate with us. I come back home to him, and you share your life with someone who has similar core values, I'd say. That person can be absolutely different, but आपका जो core value है ना, जो certain ethics होते हैं life में, कुछ beliefs होते हैं, वो same होना चाहिए, वो अलग नहीं हो सकते. Rest, cricket, no cricket, मतलब आपका बिल्कुल अलग आप सोच रहे हैं, different choices, great, it's nice. And also I also believe that try and understand also sometimes what being selfless is. Sometimes you should know that, and when you think about the other person in the most correct way first, then the other person also does the same, and eventually everybody will be happy. By everybody I mean the two people will be always like happy, and don't overthink anything. The most important thing, take one day
You know, this last part of the conversation, whenever I'm hunting for a partner, I'm definitely going to show her that. Yami Gautam ne kaha hai, so I think definitely that speaks itself.
Absolutely.
But a pleasure talking to you. It didn't just feel like it's my first interaction. Thank you so much for being so kind, warm, and humble. All the best for this project and everything that you do in the future. Can't wait to meet you in person. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shubhadeep. All the best to you.
Thank you so much.